Hello ladies and gentlemen, this is Blue Maxima. Let me just turn down the exposure on the camera there. This is Sleeping Gods. I'm going to call this Sleeping Dogs at least once in this video because I've done it multiple times already and it's going to annoy me to no end. But anyway, here is the game in action. I am currently through to the second event deck. You get 3 and then the campaign basically ends because this is timed. And this is one of those games which is really popular for the time that I got into board games. It is at 8.7 on Board Game Geek, and pretty much all of the reviews were positive about it. Like, frankly, almost completely positive. But now that I've bought it and actually played it a bit, I gotta tell ya, I'm not really that into it. For reasons that we will get into very shortly, but for now, I just want to take you through a turn or two, just to give you an idea of the basic mechanics. So, down here is the ship board, and we use the ship board once per turn. We can go to any of the areas that don't currently have 2 damage cubes on them, which is just the sick bay at the moment, and take advantage of their abilities. Right now, we don't seem to have much in the way of command tokens on people, but we are probably going to want the command tokens off Audrey. So we're going to stop right here in the quarters. And that'll give us 2 of the command tokens up the back here. No, actually, it gives us 3 tokens up the back here. Then we can remove 2 from play, because that's what that little symbol under there is. All of these have different effects. The bridge, we can do all of the command tokens that are in play, but we can only take 2 of them. If we go to the galley, we can do something. I don't remember what that symbol stands for, but we can take fatigue tokens off people. The sick bay gives us some health. The deck gives us some resources. We'll get to them eventually. But I've got my command tokens right here. I've got a new ability card that I can draw right up the back here. And it is Power Strike. Discard this quick card when the crew hits for an extra damage. That makes sense. So these cards cost a certain amount of command tokens to be activated. This one costs 2. It'll also add 1 for that particular stat there, the fisticuff. And now we move on to our event. And our event is drawn off the top of the event deck. And in this case, it is Carpenters. This is currently I can't remember exactly what they call it. It's a calm event, but it eventually increases in difficulty as you go down the deck, as you can see. So, Carpenters. We either pay for repairs, pay 1 materials, repair 1, sell materials, or decline their services. Well, I think we're going to spend a material and get part of the ship repaired, because, Jesus, we need it right now. Thankfully, that wasn't too rough, but those events do eventually get much rougher. So, now that we've done that, we can take 2 actions as outlined down the bottom of the ship board here. I'll just move the materials out of the way. We can travel, depending on a certain challenge that we roll. We can explore an area. We can go to a market, or we can go to a port. These all have different things behind them. We are currently nowhere near a market or a port, though. So instead, what we're going to do is we're going to explore to show you how this game works. Because not only is all the stuff here, in terms of the just the board and all the character things and the atlas up the top there, not everything is included in the game. You also got this absolutely massive binder filled with all of the choose your own adventure parts of the game. And this is where one of my main problems comes in, because this is the majority of how you're going to get to explore the world. This is where you're going to learn how things work, learn how people live, except not really. Most of the things I've been through here in this book are just really short one-off things. So let's pick an area to explore, shall we? See if it proves my point. I think 29 is one I've been to previously. Let me just double check. Yep, I've been to this one. So we'll go to 102, and I'll read to you what the result of going to 102 is. If keyword basement turned to 102.1, you land at shore and find a broken down house. The roof burnt. In the basement, you find a hoard of supplies. 2 grain, vegetables, meat, materials, and an artifact. Okay. That is a lot of shit. Alright, give me 2 grain. Give me 2 materials. I assume this thing is an artifact. 2 materials. 2 vegetables. And 2 meat. Vegetable. Meat. Meat. And vegetable. If I can just get the bloody meat token out from under there, because God. Nope, that was still a meat. I need a vegetable. Apparently I'm full up on vegetables, so I'm guessing they won't let me take any more. What a shame. Alright. Really weird that I'm so full of this stuff right now, but we also get a quest card. There's even another bloody box behind here, and this is where all the quest cards come in. So, if I search through here, I will eventually find quest number 158. There it is. We discovered a basement filled with supplies near a volcano. Keyword, basement. Bloody focus. Keyword, basement. So, that is added to our list of quest cards. These quest cards give us keywords, which determines where we continue on to when it comes to the book. Because if we were to go back there again, if keyword basement turned to 102.1, we'd go there and it just says you explore a burned house but find nothing of value. Return to the ship. So that's pretty simple to understand, right? Here's the problem. Almost all of the encounters I found so far are like this. You get a couple of lines, you get some resources, sometimes you're thrown into a fight, but you get basically nothing in the way of background detail about the world, you get nothing about the way the people in it live, and there is very few occasions where it really takes advantage of the size of this bloody book. Because seriously, look at how big this book is. It takes very little advantage of that size, instead using it for mostly choices, a few of which just don't really seem to make any sense. You could very easily just put some extra dialogue underneath for certain choices that you can make that would just immediately send you back to the ship. But as a result, actually exploring in this game is not that fun, because the majority of the time it'll just be something simple like this, and even then it'll be something like you just ran around on some rocks, take 2 damage to your ship, and that's it. There's not even like a keyword thing to give you more stuff to do. And it just doesn't give me any depth to the world whatsoever. It really is a nice looking world, because I'll just grab the atlas for you. We were on 102, that'll be easy enough to remember. How'd you get there, low morale? The atlas really does look nice. The art on it is really well done. It's quite pleasant to look at. It's got plenty of locations to visit. And the way that the atlas works, and we'll actually get to that because we still have one thing we can do before our turn ends, is that we can actually explore it. So we were on 29 and 102 before, right? We can travel between anywhere, we can travel to any area as long as we've got the travel points for it, and every area that is separated by a white line or the spine of the book is an area that we can travel to. So as a result, it's actually really well put together. It feels like a big world. Unfortunately, that big world is empty and seemingly full of just these really small encounters that just don't seem to add much to the story so far. I've been playing this for about, 4 hours, 5 hours at this point. I've been through one entire event deck, and I haven't found any events that are particularly engaging in the brain department, in the whole, hey, we're actually having fun exploring, we're meeting interesting people, we're going to strange new places. And even when I do, it ends up coming with a caveat. So let me tell you about the quest cards while we're here. So these quest cards often come with these simple descriptions, right? So, materials for a mechanism. Wants us to track down a material called Shorm Blood, which he needs to build his clock tower. I know you can't really see that very well, but that's what it says, I promise. So, where do I go? Where do I go to find this shit? Because, admittedly, they do tell you in the book. They do tell you in this book where to go. But unless you've got a big-ass notebook to write that down, you're going to forget pretty quickly. Notably, the game doesn't come with one. It does come with something, but here's what it comes with. On the back of the thing you use to save your game, it's just it's just your map. So it's like, complete / don't return 160, danger here 160, return here with this keyword 160. how would you fit that all on here? How could you possibly fit any of that information on this map? You would have to go and get a notebook or something, right? And with how much crap they include in... Well, not so much crap. This is all relatively important. It's just... Look at how big this game is. Like, even if I was to put bunch of tokens over here, a bunch of tokens over here, I'd never be able to actually just reach across this comfortably no matter what I was doing. I was playing this out on a table, but even in here on a floor that's like twice the size, I still have trouble fitting it all in a reasonable area that I can actually fit onto the camera. It's way bigger than it needs to be. The shipboard, you could probably get rid of the shipboard entirely and replace it with something different. Having the tokens in their own like trays would be 100 times better. The Atlas could do to be a little smaller maybe, but the big problem is with the character cards. The art is really nice, and on the back of them, they've even got like these bios that tell you about the characters, but they're just too big. They are just way too big. You're supposed to be able to like slide these cards under them to say that you've equipped it to this person, but personally, I don't see the point. I would rather have these be much smaller and have them be more accessible on a general level than have just this big sprawl of stuff I need to worry about out here. It makes the entire game just that bit more annoying to play in the long run. But anyway, we've done that. We have explored an area. We got some supplies for it. Not all we could carry, unfortunately, but we got some of it. And now we can head on to, let's just say, a port. So I'm going to travel for my second ship action. You're actually supposed to move this little guy across the ship like this, but I'm playing solo, so it doesn't really matter that much. So on traveling, this will introduce us to a challenge, and these challenges require you to get a number above a certain amount, and this is determined by the amount of characters you put on the problem by using fatigue, plus the amount you draw off the fate deck, which is the ability cards there. They've got that number in the top left there. You can just barely see that on the film. I'll show you what I mean in a minute. But that means we need to get some people with craft on this challenge. And this is probably going to cripple me, but I'll just do it to demonstrate. So we're going to take a fatigue token here, and we're going to put it on Laurent. That puts him on 2, which means he does 1 less damage in any particular combat. So we've given him fatigue, and now we can use his craft ability to put our ability up by 1. So we're at 1 craft. So now we just need to flip a card off the top of the deck here and see what it gives us. We got a 3. We add 1 to that. That gives us 4. So with 4 craft, we are able to move 2 spaces. Frankly, we didn't even really need to do that. But so now we can move across the white line to here. But if we were in this area here, we'd have to perform its challenge. Now, you can't see it from here, but the challenge is you need to get a sailing, I can't remember what it's called, but the blue anchor skill of 5, else you take 1 ship damage. And those checks are everywhere. They are in events. They are in the book. They are all over the damn place, and you need to do them all the time, which means that everyone is going to get fatigued really quickly. Look at my entire board. I got 3 here, but thankfully the captain's leveled up so she doesn't have to deal with that problem. 1, 1, 2, 2, 2, 1, 1. So I'm almost completely full up on fatigue. I have a way around this, and I'm going to do it before I actually decide whether or not I want to explore on my next turn, but it just makes things a little bit difficult, shall we say, because you're either going to be full up on fatigue, or you're going to be taking all of that damage there, and sometimes you can spend all the fatigue, then the fate deck gets drawn, you end up losing the challenge, and you've just spent all that fatigue for nothing. So what I'm trying to say is that the game really tries to strangle every last resource it's got out of you, and it makes the game infinitely more frustrating as a result. So, I'm still not sure how some of the rules here work as well, by the way. So, as far as I know, you can use these abilities at any time, these command abilities. All the characters have got them, and you can put these command points down here and use one of those abilities, but you can't use another ability until those are taken off by a ship action. Makes enough sense to me, right? But then you have to deal with a couple of other things. Like, for example, these guys down here. I'll pick up one to show you. You've got things like recipes, which give you a command point that you can get from, say, Well, this one you get by starting the game. This is one you get entirely for free. But then you've got ones that you can get alongside, like, say, this passenger here, who's good for a bit of damage, a bit of vegetables, or a bit of block. I don't know if you're meant to be able to just say, I want to spend a command token, toss it back in the pile, and then use it immediately, and you can use it again afterwards, or if you have to put a token down on it and wait. The rulebook isn't particularly clear about this, but I'm going to just take the opportunity to cook a soup, which lets me remove 3 fatigue from 3 characters of my choice. 1, 2, 3. And it also lets me remove 1 low morale. That one's easy. But I have to spend 3 food of any kind. So I'll use a grain, a vegetable, and another vegetable, because we're out of vegetables in the stock there. So there we go. So yeah, I don't know how that works, if I'm being honest with you. It's nice to have the ability, but that also brings me another problem with the command points, in that you seem to be actively benefiting by playing with more than one person. So the rules tell you that you need to split up your characters among individual players, and every time they take their turn, and turns are passed around if you're playing with more than one player, they only get to control the characters they have, and the other players can send in their characters for a price. But the thing is, even with that, having multiple players be able to take 4 command tokens each just seems a bit ridiculous to me personally, just because there's just so many in comparison. I always find myself struggling, even with like me potentially breaking the rules here by not leaving like command tokens on these guys. I still find myself struggling to get as many command tokens as humanly possible, and as a result, I just feel like I'm being disadvantaged for no reason. I have no opportunities to really use as many of these as I possibly can. Did I remove those 2 tokens? Yeah, whatever. We'll just assume that I did, because we're coming back around to the start of my turn again anyway. So that's the end of the turn. So you do your ship action. So we're going to go to the quarters again. Take these off. Immediately gain 3. So I'm just going to pick this one up here and add to my own private stocks down here. And then I'm going to draw a card here. I will also point out that having two of these event cards is not great for me. These ability cards, because you can only hold 3 at a time. This ability also applies in co-op games, but everybody can hold 3 at a time. So again, it just seems like you get more resources for free. So I don't know if this is just being more punishing to solo players for no reason, or if there's a balanced reason for it. But all I know is that I feel like I'm not getting enough resources to spread around my crew. As a result, well, I'm going to need to use 2 of these immediately again, because our ship is really doing badly. I can't afford to let that continue. And what do I want to use the other 2 on? I probably want to use them on something immediately. The question is what? There's a lot of options here. At the start of each turn, remove all command from this crew. Ooh. Alright. 2, back to the pile, and I'll equip that to Audrey. Fair enough. So, now we do an event again. Ghostly Visitor. Convince the ghost to... chill air fills the ship as an ethereal woman walks the deck. Convince the ghost to leave the ship. It's just... This would be interesting if there was more to it, but it's just a ghost, and it's like, hey, shoo. And that's basically it for the plot. That's what the majority of these encounters have been. That's even what the bloody, So when you run out of the event deck, an event happens, right? You have to immediately turn to that event and then perform it. I did. It turned out it was a boss fight, and someone was like, oh god, it's found us. It's, some weird name that I can't remember. And I was like, okay, what's this thing? What's to do with it? Turns out it's the thing on the front of the box. And it's like, you're not going to tell me about this thing. You're not going to tell me what it is, or what it is, where it came from, what its real motivations are, except for it just wants to stop us from waking the gods up or something like that. I don't know. I just seem directionless at this point. Combined with the fact that I've got 8 quests and I'm having trouble remembering where to go with any of them, I'm starting to run low on bloody ship health, although I've just gotten really lucky with bloody resources. Most of my things have been take 2 ship damage. and that was it, more or less. Or just some other random crap that doesn't really seem to have any relevance to the world at all. And I just find myself not really having fun exploring. So let's do it. Let's do this check. Savvy 5. What's Savvy again? So here's the rulebook. Thankfully, the rulebook is actually really helped out by the inclusion of this. It's a quick reference card. It tells you basically everything you need to know about the game once you've read the... Once you've read the manual in full. Savvy is the anchor. So, one frightened probably isn't good for us. What is frightened again? That's weaken. That's madness. What's oh yeah, can't attack. You know what? I'm just going to flip this and take the penalty. Not 5. Apparently we win. Cool. Didn't really get any information on why we had a ghost running about the ship, but okay. Did we do airship action? Yeah, we did. So now we go to exploring again, and we're going to explore number 22 and see where that leads us. I'm hoping it'll lead us into a fight, just so I can show off how that works. Also, this book isn't particularly strong. Alright. Sailing on a swift wind, a Zokmir vessel. Who the hell was Zokmir? Bears down, just missing the bow of the Manicore. In swings the captain from a mizzen line, landing on your deck with a practiced finesse. I mean you no harm, he proclaims and gestures for you to lower the weapons pointed at his throat. I'm on my way south to drop off some Lucran iron. What the fuck is Lucran? God. But I heard a rumour in which a crew like yours might find profitable. I'd be happy to part with it with a simple sum. I'm pretty sure I've already been here. This sounds familiar. Yeah, I have. Bloody Cinder. You know what? We might as well go for that. So, pay 1 coin or 1 food, or decline and search the area. We're going to decline and search the area. Gain 1 materials or 1 meat. I guess we'll take the materials. Alright, so, he's just given us... He gives us a quest for Cinder. A Zokmir captain told us about an entrance to the Cinder Realm. Sorry, it's a quest card. I'll read the rest for you now. It's on the island to the west with 2 volcanoes at the foot of the southern volcano. It would be really nice if it said, hey, you got this at number 22. So I could turn the page to number 22 and be like, oh, that's where it wants me to go. So, yeah. I guess we'll make an effort to travel that way and see if we can get to where that leads us. So, there is one other problem I have, though. It's on the island to the west with 2 volcanoes at the foot of the southern one. Note how there's... Let me just take this off here. Note how there's 2 options for that. 76, 12, or possibly 115. So let's just say there's 3 options. The game and its quests finds itself to be a fair bit inaccurate about these from time to time, or at the very least, imprecise. Let me explain to you what I mean. So there's another bloody box in here somewhere. Here it is. It's the used quest box. This is where they want you to shove everything that you've already done. So, letter. I'll read this out to you and exactly what it says. Pan letter. A Pan elder woman, I don't even know what that means, said she would help us if we delivered a letter for her. She wants us to take to a village outside of Glance in the northern mountains. So, let me just turn the page to Glance, because I've been to Glance before. I believe it is in the north of the map that we are on right now. See, there it is. So, here's Glance. Zoom out a bit. So we got 60 and 58, but none of those look like small villages. 77 though, that definitely can look like a village. 107, I'm not sure what that is there. And possibly 69? Whatever that little entrance is on the arch there. But definitely not directly on Glance. So let me tell you how this story went. I thought she said, okay, a village outside of Glance. So I'm assuming she means up there. So I went to 77. Got my ass kicked, thinking, okay, I should go to 78. Went there, got my ass kicked. Went back to Glance, basically limping, completely out of all the resources I could possibly need to survive, only to find out that since I had the letter, I was able to go directly into Glance and go and deliver the letter there. So, yeah, it's inaccurate at best and misleading at worst. So I spent 2 very valuable turns trying to get to that area and being like, oh, right, you actually wanted me to go directly into Glance instead of outside of Glance. Thanks for the warning. And so now, I find myself a few turns lesser. I need to go and get some more resources, and I need to try not to die. And if you die, if you fill up all your ship damage with these red boxes here, it's possible via doing things like scavenging for resources or failing challenges. Or if everybody in your team gets to their maximum amount of health counters, you end up dead, you lose 6 cards from this deck, which makes your time even shorter in the world of Sleeping Gods. And you just have to limp back and start again, unless of course you're playing on the brutal difficulty that they include, which is basically 1 and you're done, which is definitely not what I was going to do, thank you very much. So, yeah, I just, as a result of one quest not being particularly accurate enough, I find myself thinking, I find myself limping back home to somewhere that I didn't expect to have to go, and I ended up being at the place I needed to go with a lot of resources wasted. Thanks, game! And from some of the reviews I've read, this is not an isolated incident. This happens a lot, and clearly to me it's already happened twice. Like, I've got 3 locations there to go to, and I've got no idea which one is the right one. With that said, let's go. We got nothing better to do, so we're going to try and travel again. Give me... I don't even have any, like, craft to spend on this. Oh, well, I do. Alright, Mac, you get... Oh, wait, I forgot to draw my ability card this turn, didn't I? I get one of those. It's just... God, it doesn't even give me a useful ability. It's just 4 with an extra thing. You can discard these to get bonuses on these particular checks, but I haven't actually run into that yet, which is weird. But not so weird, because you can only hold 3 of these in your hand at a time, so... If you just end up getting unlucky, there's not much you can do about it. Alright, let's travel. So, 4 to 6. I want at least 2, so... Alright, I'll fatigue Mac to give us a little bit of an extra chance of pulling this off, but I don't want to fatigue everyone. So let's just flip this fate card. It's a 4, so that's a 5. That gets us 2 spaces. Sure. Go 1. And then we've got to cross to here. So we've got 12 and 115 to explore. But we do have to do that damage check, which is Savvy 5. I'm just going to let this one go. It's a 2. We take a ship damage. This game is just too big. It could do to be way smaller than it already is. I'm just going to do the bridge because, like, the bridge, in comparison to everywhere else, is just kind of needless unless you're spending a fuck ton of command tokens, because it's just like, I'd rather flip 2 and get 3 than flip all of them off and get 2, because I'm not getting enough to justify flipping all of them at the same time, getting all of them off at the same time. At least to my understanding of the rules. Anyway, that's the end of the turn, so we go back to this turn. We can't go to the deck. The sick bay, nobody's really hurt at the moment. I mean, Audrey and Gregory are, but not even remotely seriously, so I think we'll just go to the galley. Now, just to remind myself, I'll have a look at this bloody sheet here. Galley, draw 1 or 2 ability cards. You may discard 1 ability card to remove a fatigue. Okay, so that's what that means. Alright, give me my ability card first off. Restore 2 health to this crew member immediately upon using this, and it's a 1, so I'm happy to have that out of the deck. I'll discard this, and we'll take a fatigue off the captain, so she's usable later. Event time. Giant catfish. A massive catfish slaps the side of the ship. Catch it, strength 5. Gain a meat. Failed 2 ship damage. Alright, I'm just gonna fate this one. It's a 6. I don't take the damage to the ship, which is good, because that'd leave me almost dead. Gain a free meat. Sure. And, oh yeah, I get 2 command points, because I went to the galley. What bloody hell. Alright. 2 points. Do I have anything I can use 2 points for? Do I have 3 grain? I got 2. Great. Might as well cook up some more food for some fatigue. So 1, 2, and 3. There we go. Remove 3 fatigue of my choice. 1. 2. And we'll take it off. Custom-y. That's 3. Okay, so I have 2 actions to go for. I'll take the time to explore some of the side mechanics, though. So, if you go to the deck, you can draw 3 tokens from this pile. And these have things from resources to ship damage to status effects on them. And you draw 1, you immediately use the effects on it, then you can choose whether you want to draw 1 more, and you do that up to 3 times. Then you've got leveling cards. Certain quests give you experience, and they let you buy these cards at markets or ports. One of the two. I think it's ports, actually. And these cards are permanent. The ability cards are temporary. You need to discard them at the end of every one of the empty decks, which is annoying as hell, by the way. But I haven't got that much in the way of experience. Like, that 7 I got, most of that was from the very start of the game. I don't know what I've been doing wrong. I've just been getting no experience from it. They're nice abilities. They're really good abilities, actually. Like Captain Odessa being able to ignore fatigue tokens, because once you have 2 of these, you do 1 less damage in combat. That's huge! Not to mention you get to have 3 of them. And if Kasumi misses, she gets to do 2 damage on a counter, which is a lot. It is really a lot. But, yeah, I just haven't gotten that much XP. So I haven't gotten any real meaningful upgrades for these dudes yet. And as far as I understand it, when you run out of your event deck the 3rd time and do the final battle, whatever that turns out to be, you lose all these abilities and you start fresh. So you're very low on time, which makes the fact that I spent a few turns and a few turns after that repairing those few turns as consequences all the more annoying. They say that you should stick around the starter islands as much as possible and level up your dudes, but when you've got as little time as this gives you, I don't see why you would want to do that. And the thing is, this game is designed to be replayable. There are some bonuses that you can unlock. So if I just bring this up in front of the camera, you can actually unlock these new cards down here. The majority of these just make the game harder. Just give you extra endings that you can do. Not extra endings, extra rules that you can do that make the games harder, but let you score more points at the end. But some of them are actually just outright upgrades. So they just expect you to play through the game multiple times, hope you find the right stuff, and just keep doing that. As a result, it feels like the game is really designed around the idea of this book remaining the same, because with this book, you know what the results are going to be once you open it up, right? So it seems like the majority of my time spent with this game would be go through the game once and try not to worry about it, but then on the second time through, just pick all the right choices and just blaze through, then go through to the next set of areas and try and do the same thing there. It just seems like I'd be exploiting the previous information instead of making use of it in a way that would actually make me better in skills. Instead, I'm just remembering what not to do. I believe that might be a story point, depending on certain like quest cards I've picked up and all that. But I mean, again, there's just no real meat to this book that I've played so far. I've done a fair few events. There's just like nothing here, at least in the first few hours of gameplay. And as a result, it just makes me not want to pick it up again. And again, it doesn't help that it's so big. It takes a while to set up. It takes a while to pack up. And even when I'm playing, I'm thinking to myself, why couldn't they have just made this smaller? It would have been so much easier. I mean, a Sleeping Gods companion app would be fucking wonderful. But anyway, we've done the ship action. We've done the event. Let's go exploring again. So we got 12 and 115. I think we're going to go for 115. Notably, that does not equal actual pages in the book. It equals the event you have to turn to, so you might turn to the wrong page. I've done that a couple of times. 115. The towering volcano to the west spews ash and smoke, and as you grow closer, the island rumbles. The mouth of the volcano explodes. Hot magma rains down upon the deck, and you sail away as the inferno rages behind you. In the distance, an airship emerges from the smoke. As it attempts to gain altitude, lava sprays the balloon and the ship plummets down, crashing into the side of the volcano. Take a ship damage. Great. Gain quest 125. This is not good. I am really running out of fucking places to put ship damage now. And return to the ship. So let's gain quest 125 and read what it says. And see if it actually points me in the right direction or not. Quest number 125. Crashed airship. It's not going to come in focus no matter where I hold it. While sailing near an erupting volcano, we watched an airship crash. The aircraft is still intact and there might be survivors. We could search the craft by landing on the beach to the north. So would that be 103? I guess that would be 103. But you know what? Let's just let's explore 12. Just while we're here. We've still got one extra move left and we can go and take care of that next turn, I think. If keyword Cinder, turn to 12-12. I'm pretty sure I have that. I'm actually quite lucky because the event under that would have been very unpleasant. So this is where we needed to go, apparently. Would have been nice to know that, but yes. 12-12 it said, right? As you dug through the doorway of a cavern at the base of the volcano, the low ceiling brushes bits of soot from your hair. You grimace at your dirty clothes and ashen shoes. Not the most hospitable place, is it? Says Gregory. I think it's lovely, Kasumi replies as she gazes at the scene. A great fortress of gnarled lava stone rises before you to the east. Across the inverted mountain, clinging to the walls in patches like thick sea foam, is a forest of blue mushrooms as tall as conifers. They crackle and sputter, puffing spores from their gills like snowflakes. The glowing mist lands on a thick river of lava. Wouldn't we be dead at this point? Investigate the lava or approach the fortress. So here's another problem with the way they've laid out this book. I know this is a nitpick, and it's kind of meant to be like, it's meant to be, you know, like, police yourself, right? Convince yourself that this is, you know, just do the right thing. But look how close the result for 12-11 is compared to 12-12. Even in focus, you can see that 12-11 is just right up there. So even if you're looking at, like, the 12-12 header, you might look up and see the reward that you would get for 12-11, and then when you get down here, approach the fortress, turn to 12-11. So you'll know that going that way is safe. Or possibly that it's not. But you know what? Let's be fair. We could investigate the lava, but we could also approach the fortress. And look, even in this one, it's actually kind of bad because you can immediately see that both of these make you turn to 12.1. So why not just go to 12-11? Like, at that point, you can't even argue, like, oh, I've been through this way before. It's just the game just did not consider this. It's like being like, imagine if this was an actual choose-your-own-adventure game, or an adventure game where it's like, you can only pick one of the two directions, but you can clearly see the coins gleaming. At least that way there might be a trap or something, but no. Look, I'll be fair and I'll turn to 12.1, but again, it's just weird. Like, it might be better to just have, like, a bunch of individual 3-digit numbers to keep that shit from happening, but fine, we'll go to 12.1. Drenched in sweat as they near the infernal river, your crew tires quickly, unaware of the narrow eye hidden in the darkness. The eye opens, then another and another, as a mountainous being rises before you in the glow of the cave. Its scaly arm reaches out for your crew. Run! Shouts Cannon, and the crew scrambles into a narrow crevice. The Titan's massive fingers... This is like the most in-depth event I've gotten since I started playing this game. The Titan's massive fingers move boulders and piles of stone, wriggling closer to your trapped bodies. Giant fingertips scrape at the walls, throwing rocks onto your head, but the Titan cannot reach you. After minutes of terror, the Titan stops and a giant eye peers through the opening. Granholo ia tum. Leave us, yells Kasumi. The Titan laughs a tectonic chuckle, backing away, but you can still see him in the distance, waiting for you to come out. Trick the Titan into letting you go. Cunning 10, fail, turn to 12.9, otherwise turn to 12.2. Wait and see if the Titan goes away, turn to 12.4. What is the chance this thing is going to beat the shit out of us if we try and run out and trick it? But I don't think I've got the fatigue available to me. And I don't think I'm allowed to actively use the command point to get rid of people's fatigue right now, because it's technically a check. But... Alright. We're going to wait and see if it goes away. So 12-4. You wait for hours and finally he closes the eyes. Is he asleep or just pretending? Oh great, 2 more checks. So try to sneak back to the surface. Perception 8. Fail 3 health or gain 2 venom. Or B, make a distraction to divert the Titan's attention. Huh. Okay, so... Ugh. Yeah, again, I just saw what the right thing is to do here. It's to do the craft 9, and it sucks. But, look, this is a check anyway, so we're going to go for Perception 8. Chances are this is going to screw us. So Perception is the eye, I know that much. So, we're going to fatigue the captain to bring it down to 7. Then we're going to fatigue Kasumi. I need another fatigue. There we go. To bring it down to 6. We can only use 1 person per challenge, by the way. I don't want to fatigue Mac, because she's actually useful in a fight. Let's fatigue Lauren to bring it down to 5. Alright, so it needs to be 5 or... Yeah, it needs to be 5 or higher, so 5 or 6. And it is not! So we lose 3 health, which we get to spread among the crew, and gain 2 venom. Great! I'm actually kind of happy I saved those command tokens now. So, give it to Raphael, because he's the strongest. Give it to Laurent and Cannon, why not? So now I also get 2 venom, which means that at the start of every turn, 2 people are going to start losing health. I'll give 1 to the doctor, because he can heal himself, and I think 1 to Raphael. He's got the health to lose. Then turn to 12.3. You leave the safety of the crack in the wall and sneak away, but the Titan's glowing eyes creep open. Run, turn to 12.5. Or move into the shadows and hope he doesn't see you. Perception 7. Look, I don't think we're going to stand a chance at a check, so we're just going to run for it. 12.5. You flee along the path and the giant slams a meteorite can down right behind you, shaking the ground and sending the crew tumbling. You barely make it to the mine shaft that leads to the surface and leave the cave with ears ringing and hearts racing. As you make your way back towards the mana core, notably not capitalized and not italicized, that's a typo in the book, you spot a golden statue buried in the ash. The Titan almost crushes you, but you escape to the ship. Complete quest 119. Cool. So now that quest goes back into the used quest box and we're never going to see it again. Although we do have to remember not to go back to where we previously were. Gain 3 coins, an artifact, and 2 XP. So we've got 2 XP, so now that's equal to 5. We could actually afford something if we could get back to town that way. 3 coins, sure. 3 of the smaller coins. 1 of the artifacts. And that's it. So we're back to the ship. That's our second explore, and that's the turn done. I really hope we find combat so that I can talk about how the combat is actually the best thing in the game, at least personally. But first we have to take our ship turn, so... Let's see. We're going to go to the quarters, take 2 off her, but then we're gonna take that for ourselves, along with 1 more, if I could bloody reach the damn things. Then I'm going to spend 2 on her to take a ship damage off the ship. I'm going to spend 2 on him to take his venom off, because we're going to need him alive if we want this to work, but I then get to spread this 2 damage around to the people who are poisoned. Event. Crew argument. Bruised egos to heated words. Calm the crew members. Cunning 5. I'm going to fade it. I don't have the fatigue to spare. 2. I lose 2 more health off random members of the crew. Great. I'll do, I suppose. So, the event's done. Let's go north. I think we want to get to 103. So, let's... Do I have anything here that can help? I don't think I do. Alright, let's just fade it again. 6. So we get to travel 2 spaces. So I'm going to travel left and then up. Thankfully, I don't think I have to take that thing there, but even if I did, it would be an absolute bastard. And we'll explore 65. I'm willing to bet this will be a fight. Yep, I was right. Okay, we got a fight going on. A sleek red ship. Oh, fuck me, I've been here. That's alright, I can use this to demonstrate. A sleek red ship with sails like dragon wings pursues you, latching onto the hull. Warriors in red garb, carrying double-headed spears, swing onto the deck. You will not wake the gods, they scream. Alright. So this is the enemy deck, by the way. It's numbered, so you don't have to shuffle it. It just tells you what cards to pull out. But then there's a little more to it than that. So I have to pull out cards number 50, 54, and 55. Now, I get to shuffle them. Whoops, I accidentally put 50 back in the deck. Did not mean to do that. Now I get to shuffle them. Got my eyes closed if you can't tell. And here we are. We've got our 3 dudes that we need to fight, and now I need to find space for the fuckers. Alright. Nope, you can't really see them down there. Alright, here's what we're going to do. Going to move this event deck over here. You're going to get pushed out of the way because you're the fucking doctor. Move those things up there. Keep the grey cubes for myself. These are my abilities. I got an extra card off that, but... oh, God, it's not going to help me out now because I can't equip this shit in the middle of a fight. Move this to the left. And put our 3 buddies like this. So this is how the combat works. We have 3 enemies we need to kill off. And we kill off these enemies by filling in all the hearts. It seems pretty simple to me there. But in order to fill in the hearts, we need to do some successful attacks. We have 4 cubes here. These represent our moves. These would normally be shared around the players, but we are playing this solo. So, first thing we're going to do is we're actually going to use someone who can actually hit the bitches, because here's how attacking works. I will lift up this card for you to see a little better. So, you can see some numbers in the right side in the middle there. 3 and 5. The ones that are in the skull are the accuracy. So, every character has accuracy. I'll just take these off the captain so you can see what they look like on her, for example. You can see down the bottom right there that they've got some basic stats. You've got an accuracy of +1. That's +1 to the fate deck drawer in the back there. And then we've got damage that she does. Seems simple enough. Now, if you draw the fate card and it turns out to not be enough, you deal what's called a miss. And you get to do 1 damage, but the enemy gets to hit you first. Otherwise, you hit them first, then they hit you back. That's generally how it works. At this point in the game, we are going to use our first grey cube, which is what they give you to keep track of this, to attack with Kasumi. She's got 2 attack, +2 to accuracy, and 3 damage. So whatever she hits, she'll hit it pretty hard. So let's take the final event card. It's a 2. 2 + 2 is 4, so it doesn't matter. I was going to go for the one on the right, but it doesn't matter. She wasn't going to hit it anyway. So she gets hit first. And here's how damage works. You see, it's got a base damage number in the top, in the right there, 3+, and then it's got that little symbol there. That means every uncovered one here is the amount of bonus damage that gets added. So, Kasumi, poor girl, takes 4 damage straight to the face. This almost kills her, but thankfully doesn't kill her that much. And then we get to hit for 1 back. We always get to hit with 1 back, even if we end up dead in the process. So we're going to cover up that bonus damage so that anyone that gets hit by that dude isn't going to be taking that bonus damage. So that's great. We fucked that one up. Let's, well, first what we're going to do is we're going to shuffle this deck here. Because I don't think the game says what you're supposed to do when you can't draw these cards anymore. I assume they just want you to shuffle them. Like, what else could you possibly do with this, right? Alright, Kasumi actually gets 2 damage. So I'll show you what I mean. Okay, there we go. It'll do for a shuffle. So Kasumi actually gets 2 damage instead of 1 because of that counter ability she's got. So here's how the damage in this game works, right? You pick a spot on the character in question, right? So let's just say I pick this arm here. Now, I can hit in any of the 4 cardinal directions, up, down, left, or right, to any of the neighboring grids, including when there's an enemy next to the enemy that I'm attacking. So if I were to put one here, I would then be allowed to put another one on this enemy right here to hurt it even more. The developers say to think about this like you're slashing down the enemy. It's really useful. And so, as a result, the combat is actually really neat because it turns into a kind of a neat puzzle. Who do I want to attack with? Who can I get the accuracy on? What can I pull off with the abilities I've got available to me? And who do I not want dead? With that said, let's move on to my next turn. So, who can actually just hit these bastards? Because 5, 6, and 5 are actually pretty hard to hit. We'll do it with Mac. So Mac has a decent amount of accuracy, like +4. That's a lot of accuracy. We better make it something we know we can hit, though. So I think we're going to hit the Dream Guardian 2 on the left there and see if we can just get rid of some of that power of his. Oh, one other thing I forgot to mention. There are these little diamonds in the corners of these squares. I think you can see that on the recording there, even if it's unfocused. If you cover that, you get to take the synergy token of the character who did that attack and pass it on to any other crew member you so desire, which I'm going to do for Mac. And now, Mac gets to use that synergy token when she attacks for +1 bonus damage. Every character has one of these synergy tokens and they have something special. The captain's got the ability to attack diagonally. Gregory will actually keep you alive if you hit 0 hit points. The cannon over there, I believe, lets you reroll fate. Laurent gives you +1 damage again. Simple stuff like that, right? So it's worth trying to decide what you want to fill in, how flexible you want to be, who you're going to be giving your abilities to, because they'll be able to attack on the very next turn. As a result, it actually makes combat engaging. It's probably the part of the game I've had the most fun with, which is kind of disappointing if I'm being honest with you. But anyway, Mac, she's going to attack the one on the left. She's got +4 accuracy, so this hits if it's anything other than a 1, and it's a 3. Cool. So we hit, and we hit it for 3 damage. We take this off and give it back to Kasumi because it's been used. And I gave her a ship damage, but it doesn't matter. I don't think the ship can get hurt by this anyway. So we get 3 damage. We're going to hit this guy directly in the middle so that we can spread it out across 2 of his hearts and his damage. And we get to pass off her special ability here, her synergy, which is +2 to accuracy. Who would make the most use out of this? It would be Gregory, because he's already got +2 accuracy. I've given him another +2 accuracy, and he's got 2 damage, which is enough to take out this Dream Guardian. So that's probably going to be my best move. Unfortunately, the oh no, the attack back does not kill Mac, but it comes pretty close. There we go, damage dealt. So, easy enough. Let's attack with Gregory next. So, put the grey cube on him. 2 + 2, so that's +4 on a 5, so this needs to be... Yeah, I mean, we hit him. That's a 3, but I think we would have hit him on a 1 anyway, so yeah, that stays there. And we kill him. Cool, because we can just put 2 damage down straight on this heart too, and he's done. So we just put him off to the side, and we are left with 2. And also that was a synergy slot, so he gets to pass on his synergy. Question is, who's he going to pass it to? We need to pass it to someone. Thankfully, we can attack up to twice with any other person, and Kasumi will get killed by the next attack. So we're going to pass that synergy token to her. And then we are going to use her for the 4th and final attack of our go to attack the Dream Guardian 1. No, we're going to attack the Dream Guardian 3, because that is probably the more dangerous one. Leaving a regenerating ability up? No fucking way, Jose. So, let's see. Yeah, she attacks again, but she's just at +2, so this needs to be a 3 or higher. It's a 5. Cool. Absolute win. So we deal 3 damage. So let's deal that 3 damage. There are also some other abilities here that have hourglasses next to them. I'll just take this off for now. In this case, it's adjacent regen 1. And what that does is, anything that's next to it gets to take one of its health tokens off. So that it's basically just better. We're just going to cover those up so it can't do that. This does mean, though, that now it's the end of the round, discardability is going to come into play. And I'm going to have to discard one of the cards I've got here. We'll just get rid of Power Strike, I suppose. And now the attacks get dished out. So, left to right, Dream Guardian 1 deals 5 damage because it's got 2 uncovered damage spots and its base damage is 3. So, 5 damage is enough to kill anybody here. I think the rules say I'm allowed to spread this around how I like. So, there's 3. And, we'll give 2 more to Cannon. Why not? Easy done. And then the Dream Guardian 3 gets to attack. He's not in very good shape, but he can still do 3 damage, which is a lot. Take 3 damage here. We'll give 2 to Audrey and 1 to Raphael. Why not? So as you can see, we're already kind of badly hurt. We would need to limp right the fuck back to port after this, but we're not going to. We're going to take the opportunity to explore one more time. So, now it's our turn again. We get our attacks back. So let's just get all of these brown cubes. Where's the 4th one? There it is. It's on Mac. What is the plan here? I think we're just going to have to make it happen with... No, hang on. Well, first thing we'll do is we'll hit the one on the right with Kasumi again. It's going to kill her, which is a shame, but we have a diamond we can cover, which will let us pass off our synergy token. Wait, did I? No, I killed that guy on the left, so that doesn't come into play, so it'll actually still save our ass. Great. I might be forgetting something here. Oh, well, let's just flip the card. It's a 2. Nope, we still miss. But we get to +1 damage on that, so we get to cover at least one of these. So we'll cover the body, which will give us the ability to pass off our token. We'll get attacked, and we'll be hit. We're going to pass this off to... Should probably pass it off to Mac. So we'll get hit, and we will die, but thanks to that synergy token still being there, we get to survive with 2 health remaining, or two tokens, or I don't bloody know what this is supposed to be. It says 0 to 2, but you count up, so it doesn't really make sense to me. But anyway, this goes back to the good old doctor, and we get to move to our second attack, which is going to be Mac. So Mac is going to take a swing at the Dream Guardian 1, flip her up. It's a 4, that's an absolute hit, and we get 3 damage. This goes back to Kasumi. And where are we going to put that 3 damage? Shame I can't hit the body again, because then I do just discard ability. Alright, we're going to do the leg. So we've got 3 damage we can put down on this guy. So we're going to put it down on the leg, which means we'll also be able to spread it to the other leg and the discard ability to make him just that bit weaker. That means his attack is now 4, but she can only take 1 damage anyway, so she is up to 5. We're going to take some of these damage tokens here. Grab one of the 5 ones that are way in the back, and she is out of the fight. She can't do anything for the rest of the fight. So, second token's already on her. So, attack number 3. We are probably going to want to try and take out Dream Guardian number 3. So who are we going to do that with? We're going to do it with... It's 5 accuracy. We'll do it with Raphael. He's already pretty badly hurt. This is going to hurt him even more, but... I mean, he's already got venom on him. It's not like we can do much. So, +3 accuracy for a 5. We need at least a 2. It's a 6. Of course it's a bloody 6. He does 2 damage, so that's enough to kill this Dream Guardian. Whoops. That's enough to kill this Dream Guardian just right off the bat. Sweet. So now, we're just down to one Dream Guardian. We need to hit him 3 times. That's going to suck. Well, we've got 1 attack left, so we can't kill him this turn no matter what we do. So let's throw out... You know what? Let's use this guy, Zvam. So I'm going to throw a command point on him. It's the last one I got. We'll use him for his 1 damage. And where are we going to put that 1 damage? We're going to put it on the 1 damage. No, we're not. We're going to put it on the head. So now, we simply need to hit him for 3 damage on the arm. And we've got him beat. Kasumi is still alive. She can deal 3 damage. Alright. Final attack goes to her. Heart of the cards. Let's do it. It's going to be a 1, isn't it? It's a 4! That's exactly what we bloody needed. God forbid the game's actually being nice to me. So we win. So we take all these cards and put them back in the enemy deck. Uh, 50. And 54 and 55. They are right next to each other, so that's nice and convenient. We'll just, that's my phone going off right in the middle of a recording. That's not very good. I hope it's still recording. It is. We are at the 1 hour mark. Jesus. Okay. We'll move that back over there. Yeah, Raphael, you're fine off to the side. So, we done that. The book. What does the book say again? Gain 4 coins and 1 XP. Gain quest 131. I'm pretty sure I already have quest 131. Do I not have quest 131? I could have sworn I took it. I know I've won this fight before. Nope. Didn't even take it the first time. I'm an idiot. Let's go try and put it back in this bloody box. It's a nice bloody box. But let's read what the... Seriously? Let's read what the quest says. Dream Guardians. We were attacked by a red ship. Max says they call themselves Dream Guardians and they do not want us to wake the gods. That's useful. I'm guessing they'll come by and bite us in the ass later, but frankly, I'm never going to find out. So, that was the end of our turn. So, we'll take one more turn and we will end the video. So, can't use the bridge because it's full of damage. Everything else is fair game. Also, we gain 4 coins for that. Not to mention 1 XP. That would put us up to 6 XP, but I don't really care. So, I'll just grab a big coin and drop a little coin back in. There we go. I really am full on resources, which is kind of nice. I would be able to go back to port at this point, but I'm not going to. So, let's discard event card. Oh, we'll pick one up first. Alert, yeah, we'll discard that. And then we can take a fatigue off the good lady captain. And then we will gain 2 command points. And we will flip an event. The crew spots a weathered raft. Search it. Perception 5. Fail. 1 ship damage. I really wish I had the ability to skip these. Like, it's just a raft floating there. Why would do we have to search it? I guess the game has to keep it interesting. So, let's just make it so that we can actually win this, because the ship is really badly damaged. Perception 5, so, fatigue, and she hasn't done anything for us in combat, so fatigue her too. So this just needs to be a 3 or higher. It's a 1. Great, we take a ship damage. And, we gain a grain. Cool. These get way worse. Alright, ship action number 1. We're going to travel. I'm just going to flip the fate card because I have to. 5, we're just going straight here and we're checking event 103. And that'll be the end of it. If keyword airship turn to 103.6. You land with a rescue party, a safe distance from the volcano. You can still make out the smoking wreckage of the airship. Mac shakes her head. I doubt there are any survivors, she says. You hike through the scorched landscape, choking on the dirty air. Though the balloon is collapsed and the craft is in shambles, the ornate Lucaran-style engineering is a marvel to behold. Who are the Lucarans? Sorry, moving on. You grip a brass handrail and climb into a broken window. Anyone? Hello? A hand reaches out from behind a fallen bookshelf. When you lift it free, you find a young man with sharp teeth and black claws instead of fingernails. Blood runs down his face from a head wound. He's a Macrazan, explains Mac, from the south. I'm alright, says the young man, just help me out. As you climb out, the ground rumbles. The volcano is erupting again. Escape the eruption. Strength 8, fail, -5 health. Great. I have so little in the way of fatigue that I can spare at this point. It's unbelievable. Alright, I mean, I've got the resources to spend to fix it if I can actually get back to fucking port, but fine. Fatigue. And fatigue. That means we have to make it down to... It has to be a 5 or less. It's a 1. Of course it's a fucking 1. So, 5 damage to spread around to everyone on the bloody ship. Alright, so... 2 for the captain... 2 for Kasumi, 1 for Marco, and our poison bastard gets to take another damage. Great. Alright, so we failed that, but the event continues. Turn to 103.1. As you flee back to the Manticore, you hear a whistle and a ragtag group of thugs surrounds you heavily armed. He's our business, says one of them, pointing at the boy. He stole that airship and murdered the crew. Hand him over to us, the rightful authorities. The Macrazan boy says nothing. Convince them to pay you to hand him over. Cunning 8. Fail. -6 health or gain a low morale. You have to crack a few heads in order to get them to pay attention to your offer. Or B. Intimidate them into backing off. Strength 9. Fail. -6 health. So it doesn't matter what I do. If I fuck it up, I'm going to lose a lot of health. Look at my people. They're all almost dead. Alright, Christ. What do I even do here? Alright, let's try and be the good people. Strength 9. Do I even have any people I can fatigue for this? I guess I have a couple. Do I even have any fatigue tokens left? I'm having trouble finding them in this giant pile of tokens. Right, there's a couple up the back. And there's one here. So this will get us down to 6. But, again, it's 6. I doubt we'll be able to get this no matter how hard we try. So, fatigue. 6. It's a 3. We still get hurt anyway. It's 5 health. 5 health. Excuse me. 6 health. So, how many of my fucking people am I going to have to knock out for this? Alright, so we put 2 down here, so Gregory's at 1 health. We put 1 down here, so Audrey's at 4 health. He's going to get knocked out. 1 for Odessa, and 2 more on Marco. So basically everyone is 1 hit from death. Turn to 103.2. You convince the thugs to back off, but they're clearly not going to give up so easily. We'll see them again, says Mac, watching the group disappear behind a boulder. You guide the Macrazan boy back to the Manticore. My name's Milo, he says. I hate to ask, but can I hide in your ship for a while? Well, I get quest 156 either way. Again, an app for this would be so much better. Imagine not having to pull out this many bloody cards. There's seriously like 400 cards. There's seriously like 400 cards in this box. It gets a little ridiculous. Gain quest 156. We get that no matter what, huh? And you know what? We're going to let him stay. So, you won't even know I'm there, says the Macrazan as Gregory clings and bandages his head wound. That's what we're afraid of, mutters Mac under his breath. Complete quest 125. And gain quest 126. And what is 126? Macrazan boy. We saved a boy with sharp teeth and black claws from a crashed airship. A group of thugs wanted to take him because they said he stole an airship and murdered the crew. The boy is hiding aboard the ship. And the other one, rightful authorities. A group of thugs tried to take a boy we rescued on charge of murder. We refused and they won't be forgiving us if they see us again. Yeah, so that would just be one that comes back to bite us in the ass if we end up going to the wrong city at this point in the game. And we wouldn't know that until we're right on top of it, wouldn't we? So, yeah, that was an example of sleeping dogs. I almost did it. I think I made it through this entire video without bringing it up, but I almost said it right there at the end. I was really attracted to the concept. I really was. Exploring this really well done world with this great art, running into these neat situations, choosing the ways in or out, and what's the word I'm looking for? Trying to find, choosing your way in or out, and completing quests, and trying to find the stuff that you need, but the exploring is dull because the book is kind of thin on the ground in environmental details or world building. And the fact that the choices are the same every single time means that it feels like when you start a new campaign, you'll just be going through the motions again, going through the same events, coming through roughly the same way every time, minus the checks, in order to get the best result possible. So it ends up feeling quite shallow. On top of that, the game is just this really big spread, so it's just kind of unpleasant to pull out and play, let alone save. They do give you very precise step-by-step instructions, but that doesn't make the process a little bit of a bore. There's also the fact that some of the quests can be inaccurate at worst and just imprecise at best, meaning that you'll end up wasting a fair bit of time. And despite the fact that I've clearly got a lot of resources here, the game is a ball buster. Look how much health I have to go and get healed somewhere. I'm lucky I've got the resources to do it. I've been in this situation more than once in the 5 hours I've been playing for. And it really does just result in you just slowly limping your way back to a port and just trying to get as much of yourself healed as possible before setting back out and hopefully getting something that you can get some resources off the back of. And considering the fact that it's so tight, the fact that you've got very little time to effectively go through the game makes some of the tips pointless. Like, I looked up this, easy mode PDF that the creator of the game made. And it was like, if you want to play on easy mode, just give yourself a bunch of extra resources and let yourself take one more command token per turn. And it's like, really? Really? That's all you're going to do? You're not going to change anything else up? And then some of his tips are like, spend some time wandering around the starting areas and spend your time grinding up your equipment. And it's like, well, unless you're going to have me repeating the same events again, you can't guarantee I'm going to be able to do that. And even then, why would I want to, again, waste the time? I've got such a low time limit that I feel like I'm going to have to be in a rush. And then it just comes down to sometimes luck with the checks. Like bloody cunning 9? Are you kidding me? That's ridiculously high, and I've already spent all this bloody fatigue. What else was there that I just wasn't a fan of? I talked about the size. I talked about how the questing isn't great because the book isn't very well detailed. I talked about how the quests in general just being a bit of a pain in the ass, and all of that just makes the rest of the game a bit of a pain to explore. I mean, you've also got items here that you can buy with money to help you out. I already talked about leveling cards, where the XP you get as a result of your adventures can be used for these permanent upgrades. But those just really aren't useful at the end of the day. I've spent 5 hours at this point playing this game, and I just don't want to play any more of it. It's that simple, really. I've been trying to appreciate it. I've been trying to go to the events, and now that I've got the damn game on camera, something more interesting with some more reasonable choose-your-own-adventure paths goes on. But seriously, 90% of the events that I've been running into since I started is either fight a bunch of enemies, or take a bunch of damage, or gain a resource or two, but nothing major, and go back to the ship. Maybe if they spread their resources a bit better, maybe if they didn't have so many of those bloody checks to make me not feel strangled trying to explore the place. Maybe if it was just a little bit smaller so that I was able to get through the game a little bit faster, I'd enjoy it a bit more. But no, sorry, I've well and truly fallen off of it at this point. I think I've said all I'm going to. Also, storing the game is kind of a pain because instead of giving you something reasonable, they give you these like 5 different boxes that you have to put everything in the game in. And it just makes it hard to cram it all in there into all the bloody Ziploc bags you've been able to see off in the corner there for the last hour and 15 minutes. And it just makes the game a big pain in the ass to play as a result. Yeah, sorry, I'm done. I can't bring myself to play it anymore. It's alright, I don't hate it, I just wish it did the exploration better, I wish it did the questing better, I wish it did the size better. But, nah. Just a bit, funnily enough, Sleeping Gods is just a bit too shallow for me. I don't know how I would improve it, but that's just the conclusion that I've come to. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong down in the comments. This has been Blue Maxima, I'll see you all next time.